Welcome. Welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is called Beyond the Cliff. Good morning. It's so good to hear. Good morning back. You surprised me. Good morning. I am the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Intriligator. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I welcome you to worship. Our goal here, as always, is not perfection, but connection with ourselves, with the holy, and with one another. I hope this service helps you to connect today. Helping me create that sense of connection are three volunteers I want to thank. Dan Griscom is our stand-in worship technician, our technical wizard behind the scenes. Yeah, he's waving at you if you can see that. Ann Noonan is hosting the chat space in Zoom today, and our in-person usher is Michael O'Connor. Thank you all for all your help. Even now, even in the pandemic, there is still a lot going on at our church. Please read the newsletter and the website to find out all you need to know, but briefly, here's the scoop. To our Zoom audience, I know you get a message when you sign on that says you are being recorded. I can't stop that, but please be assured that you probably, I'm 100% sure, almost, that you will not appear in the worship video. It's almost always just the worship leaders who come on the video. Second, and more important, the second season of Opening Doors starts tonight at 8 p.m. This is an online concert series hosted by our own Alistair MUUC, and he features musicians of color performing and talking candidly about racism inside and beyond the music industry. Tonight, Alistair interviews Pamela Means, a singer-songwriter from Western Massachusetts, whose music the New York Times called stark and defiant. That sounds interesting. Please join in and share the link with your friends. And our chat host will put that link in the chat box now, and you can use that to get more information when you like. Next, if you want to share with us today a joy or a sorrow, remember you can text me at any time. Anne has my phone number, and she's going to put it in the chat box so that everybody has it. A quick word that next week you'll have a guest preacher here who I'm pretty sure is a crowd favorite. C.B. Beale will be joining us again remotely from their home in Western Massachusetts. It should be really fun. Now, as you know, there have been a lot of changes in how we do worship this year, some of them intentional and chosen, and some of them forced on us by the pandemic. We'd like to get your input on all of these changes, your sense of how worship is landing with you these days. So along with the chair of worship, Eric Lambiaso, we've developed a survey with just a few open-ended questions on it. I'm going to be sending that out later today via our newsletter list, and I hope to hear back from just about everybody. Speaking of the changes that we've made, we have an announcement this morning from your COVID safety team. Here is Jeannie Harris.
Hello. Hi. Good morning. My name is Jeannie Harris, and I'm speaking this morning as a member of the MUUC COVID Safety Task Group. This group was formed over a year ago and helped establish safety guidelines for the church. For the new church year, the Safety Task Group was reconvened in late August by our board president, Dan Griscom, with all new members, including Florence Cordovano, Kathy Sang, Mary Hildebrand, and myself. This group has met with Dan approximately every other week since our first meeting on August 22nd. We have received advice and input from Reverend Suzanne, Tara, Katie, and other church members. This kickoff to our new church year is not what we all hoped for. We are all living through a traumatic time. And as much as we hope for a wonderful mask-free services to start the year, we have dealt with the virus as the threat it is, even as we meet with the love in a community that includes unvaccinated children, immunocompromised people, and other at-risk groups. We are learning and adjusting as we go. Our safety decisions are guided by trusted expert sources, including the UUA, the CDC, and COVID Act Now. Please remember, this is temporary. The Delta COVID will pass. And as community transmission rates decrease, other activities can and will resume. If you have questions or want to help, we welcome your help and continued support. We can provide our emails, our phone numbers, and a link on the midweek update where you may contact us with your questions and your concerns. If you would like to attend one of our meetings, please contact us and we can share the Zoom link with you. We are also in the process of trying to find a continual permanent meeting time so that everyone can participate. I feel that the most important gift that we can give to each other right now is to have patience. Please say that word and keep it in your thoughts, because I will. Thank you. I can't.
And Anne has put in the chat box the email address for the safety team. If you feel like you want to reach out to them today, go ahead. So, thank you again, Jeannie. And I just want to thank the whole safety team for being willing to have these hard conversations and make these hard decisions on behalf of all of us. Now it's time to greet one another. So those who are here in person, you can do the hug shooter thing, wave at each other and smile. Those who are on Zoom, please feel free to switch to gallery view and go through the windows as is our habit to do each week, and say hello. Sometimes Dan can put them up here and we can wave to the people at home. Oh, they're seeing our sanctuary view now, but maybe that's too much right now. It's okay. Oh, there we go. There they are. Hi, people. We're waving at you. I'm so glad we could all take this time together this morning. And now I call us to worship. I call us to worship this morning. We who have learned so well just to keep going, to keep sticking it out, no matter what. We come here to pause that sticking, to slow down that hustle, to remember, to recall and touch what is real, what is worthy, what is whole. We come here to catch our breath, to breathe in peace, to breathe out love. We come here, and in so doing, we make this hour sacred with our intentions, with our presence, and with our calling in the presence of the holy, however we understand it to be. Welcome here, welcome home, welcome to worship. Now, along with UUs everywhere, we light the symbol of our faith, the flaming chalice. This morning, our chalice will be lit by our usher, longtime member, former board president, and all-around great guy, Michael O'Connor. As Michael comes forward to light the flame, I invite you at home to light a candle and share the warmth. There you go. This morning, our chalice lighting reading will be given by our current church treasurer, Jill Libby. Let's all watch Michael light it, and then we'll turn to Jill.
This morning's chalice reading is by Amy Brooks. She says, even as the days grow shorter and our homes shrink smaller and our wicks burn lower and our will to endure flickers, we light this chalice to kindle a flame of warmth as a reminder of the connection that draws us into a community that opens us up. In gratitude for the breath in our lungs and the love in our hearts for the gift of this day alive.
Thank you, Jill. Well done. And now here's our music director, Tara Tresner-Kirsch.
Good morning. Our opening hymn this morning is Meditation on Breathing. Those of you joining on Zoom, please sing as you like. And everyone, please join me in taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. We breathe in peace. We breathe out love. Let's center ourselves for worship.
Now let us join together in the words of our covenant, followed by the song of aspiration. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in covenant with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God. Today, our wonderful Director of Religious Education, Katie Campbell, is outside on the lawn with our kids doing tie-dye. In her place, we have a short film recommended to me by other UU professionals. It's less than 4 minutes long, and it's a collection of children talking about tough situations and how they've learned to manage using mindfulness. Watching this video becomes a meditation in itself.
I get really mad when my brother hits me a lot.
I don't like it when you say you don't want to play with me.
When I'm mad, my brain can get a headache and it can start hurting. Your blood keeps pumping because you're like really mad. And you start to get sweaty because you're getting really, really mad. And then when you start getting really mad, you turn red.
When your body can't really control yourself, mad just takes over your body. I just get out of control. It's kind of like if you had a jar and then the jar would be your brain and then you put glitter in the jar and that would be how you would feel like. If you shook up the jar and the glitter went everywhere, that would be how your mind looks. And it's like spinning around and then you don't have any time to think. And you sometimes punch stuff and people when you don't really mean it. When I get angry, I feel it in my heart. I really don't like when I get angry. The amygdala really reacts, but the prefrontal cortex tries to keep it down. When I feel like I want to, get really angry and yell, I just sometimes, take deep breaths. First you find a place where you can be alone, then you find some way to relax and calm down. When I need to calm down, I take deep breaths. I breathe in through my nose. Sometimes I close my eyes or just take deep breaths. It's coming down, it's not moving. It's slowing down and then it stops. And the heart pumps slow and then it goes into your brain. It's like all the sparkles are at the bottom of your brain. My brain slows down and then I feel more calm and then I'm ready to speak to that person.
Every week, we pause for a time of meditation, each reflecting in our own way. Let's start that time together by relaxing into our chairs, feeling our feet on the floor wherever we are, letting our bodies settle in. Let's breathe in and out together. To begin our meditation time, first we'll join in our centering song. Then we'll sit for a few minutes of shared silence. Then we'll speak to one another of our joys and sorrows. And then I'll lead a prayer. For September, the centering song is "There's a River Flowing in My Soul." Folks at home, feel free to sing along. Folks here in the sanctuary, please refrain from singing, but feel free to sway and move as you like. After the song, again, we share 2 minutes of silence.
to the greater reef. There's a river flowing in my soul.
How's that? Okay, better here, but could you look at the Zoom volume as well? Thank you. Oh, I'm supposed to have my mask on for this part. I don't have enough hands. And I'm supposed to give you my phone. Here you go. First, if you have a sorrow to share with us, please type it into the chat box now or go ahead and text it to me. You've got the phone number. And it looks like Michael has some that people have written down. Do you have any sorrows to read, Michael?
From Kathy Calmuir, a sorrow. Her and Tom are moving Friday, leaving their home of 42 years.
Wow.
They'll be in the Everly Apartments in Wakefield until moving into their co-housing in January or February. And our neighbor, Dan Kelleher, died on Wednesday. When Nancy and I moved into Melrose, he and Sue were the first people that we met. And over the years, they became more than neighbors, they were friends. and his passing, I'll always remember him as a kind man, stubborn to the end, but very kind. I've asked you to keep his family in your prayers, and if you have time, some of his friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'm looking at the sorrows on chat, and people are telling me I'm still way too quiet on Zoom, Dan. Okay, from Rebecca. Candle, I had some skin cancer removed on my nose on Friday, and the surgery and the recovery have been rougher than expected. From Lisa, a sorrow for my sister, nephew, and brother-in-law facing a really rough and complicated situation. From my sister Camille, she says, thanks for all your thoughts and prayers last week. I survived my surgery and I'm very grateful. So let us pause for a moment and just hold these sorrows in our minds and our hearts. Let us reach out with compassion to all who are hurting today with our support and our help. And now I light one candle as a beacon of care for all the sorrows that have been spoken and those that remain unspoken. And now, if you have any joys to share with us, go ahead and type them into the chat box or text them while I blow out this candle. Michael, do you have any joys on your paper?
Yes. From Mary D. I celebrated fall with a Hubbard squash, roasted it this morning. And also from Kathy Kellier. Nita, Martha, Joyce, Paula, Jenny, and Jean will be celebrating the completion of becoming our Becoming Women of Wisdom with a crowning ceremony this afternoon.
Wow, that's a big deal. I thought you already were women of wisdom, but now with capital W's. That's wonderful. From Jean T, joy that our daughter completed her first triathlon today. From Gretchen, joy for my Aunt Dorothy, who returned to her home in Lincoln, Nebraska after a hospital stay. She celebrates her 98th birthday on Thursday. From John Raymond, a candle. It was great to hear Bill and Sammy McQuaid yesterday at Porch Fest. And I'm going to ask our chat host, Ann Noonan, did I miss any joys and sorrows? You can go ahead and read them to us.
I believe you have them all.
I think that means that I didn't miss any. So let us go ahead and hold these joys in our hearts for a moment. Thank you for sharing them. They help us connect and remind us all of the beauty of living. I'm going to light this one other candle, the orange, to shine out our thanks for all the blessings in our lives. I know I'm making you all nervous. I'm sorry about that. Please join me in the spirit of prayer. Can you hear me okay? Our prayer today is based on the writings of the medieval mystic Julian of Norwich, pronounced Norwich. Julian was a real person who lived in England in the early 1400s at a time when her town was devastated by both a peasants' revolt and the Black Plague. While she was deathly ill, Julian saw visions of God, which she wrote about in a text that later became the earliest surviving book written by a woman in the English language. This body prayer I want to share with you today was later developed based on 4 words that Julian believed central to her spiritual experience. The words are await, allow, accept, and attend. Now, if you're welcome to participate in this any way that feels comfortable to you. If you want to stand and do the prayer with me, you're very welcome. If you'd prefer to remain seated and participate that way, that's fine too. However you feel comfortable, folks at home, go with that. We'll do the body prayer once with lots of words and guidance from me, and then we'll do it with just the 4 words, the 4 intentions that Julian set, and then we'll do it once in silence. So, I'm hoping you can all see me at home. For await, you place your hands right in front of you. Okay. And the idea is you await the presence of the holy, not as you expect or hope or imagine, but just as it is, whatever it is in this moment, and you breathe. And the next step is allow. Put your arms up high. Allow a sense of the holy to come to you, whatever that is. And breathe. Next is accept. You put your hands on your heart, and you accept as a gift whatever comes or does not come. Accept that you are not in charge. Accept the infinity of the sacred, whether or not you are aware. And the last bit is attend. Attend to what you are called to, the actions that the Spirit of love invites you into from this place of openness. So now with just the words. Await. Allow. Accept. Attend. Thank you so much for joining me in that. Now for something a little lighter. It's time for our offertory. This church is an independent organization supported by your generous annual pledge. You may also contribute to our weekly collection plate, which we split every month with a worthy cause. You can donate either way using the orange button at the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. We won't have a collection in person, but there is a plate at the back. You can drop your offerings there. For September, half of our collection will go to the Texas Freedom Network, which opposes the religious right and trains church folks to stand up for reproductive freedom. For our offertory music this morning, I have a special treat that I know will fill you up and lift your spirits. This is a group called the Women's 8, and they're in All Souls UU in Washington, D.C. Here they sing a mashup of the songs Hold On and Don't Be Discouraged. I recommend folks at home turn the volume all the way up because it really is that good. Enjoy.
Don't be
the mask and the mic don't like each other. How's that? I hope people at home can hear me too. All right. Whew. Our reading today is taken from the magazine Scientific American. It comes from an article by someone named Christophe André, published January 15th, 2019. He writes, "As newborns, we enter the world by inhaling. In leaving, we exhale. In fact, in many languages, the word exhale is synonymous with dying. Breathing is so central to life that it is no wonder humankind long ago noted its value not only to survival, but to the functioning of body and mind. And they began controlling the breath to improve well-being. As early as the first millennium BC, 1,000 years before Jesus, both the Tao religion of China and Hinduism placed importance on a kind of energy or internal breath and viewed respiration as one of its manifestations. The Chinese call this energy qi, and the Hindus call it prana. A little later in the West, the Greek term pneuma and the Hebrew term ruach referred both to breath and to the divine presence. In Latin languages, spiritus is the root of both spirit and respiration. It turns out that just about every relaxation, calming, or meditation technique in the world relies on breathing. Breathing may be the lowest common denominator in all the approaches to calming the body and mind. Here ends our reading. A little more water. Laura Vandernoot Lipsky was 18 years old when she first signed up to volunteer at a homeless shelter. From there, she went on to work with survivors of child abuse, domestic violence, war, and natural disasters of all kinds. Eventually, she served as a social worker in the emergency room of the biggest trauma center in the Pacific Northwest. About 10 years into this career, Laura noticed what she calls a critical mass of people around her, including her clients. They started inquiring about her mental health, asking her if maybe she needed to take some time off. Laura found it suspicious and actually a bit insulting. She thought of herself as strong and fierce. She believed that if you love your work, if you're committed to it 100%, you don't let it affect you. In her words, you suck it up. But after the umpteenth person said something to Laura, she decided to maybe take a short break. She tells this story often in her talks that she gives these days. On that break, she went to visit family in the Caribbean. One day, they all went on a hike together, and they ended up on the edge of a cliff, looking out over the clear, blue Caribbean Sea. Laura's first thought was, wow, this is so beautiful. And her second thought, which she did not hesitate to share, was, I wonder how many people jump. I mean, she kept going, what would the trauma response be? Where would the helicopters land? Would they land up here on the cliff or down on the beach? Where would they take the person? Is there a trauma center, a level 1 trauma center in all of the Caribbean? From Laura's family, with her on that cliff that day, there was a very long, very uncomfortable pause. Finally, her father-in-law said, Laura, are you sure all this trauma work you're doing isn't getting to you? And finally, something in Laura's mind clicked. She marks that moment as the beginning of a long psychic journey for her, a time of healing that she calls moving beyond the cliff. Over time, she developed an expertise in a new field that she calls trauma stewardship, the practice of helping people recognize and manage and overcome the effects of trauma, both their own trauma and the trauma that they witness, either through their work or simply by living in this world. taking it in and feeling it. So let's stop right there for a minute. I think that many of us in this room or on Zoom wouldn't use the word trauma to describe our own lives. If we haven't suffered a life-altering event that would make the evening news, we tend to reserve that word for those of us who have, and I think that's respectful, and I understand that impulse. And at the same time, I would say that many of us have in our lives suffered losses and setbacks that still haunt us. We may not be first responders, but many of us are social workers and teachers, caregivers and leaders who bear witness daily to suffering around us. And yes, we carry that stress with us. Many of us also feel deeply a grief for the world, for the slow degradation of our civic life and our democracy, and for the climate destruction that we witness daily. All of it takes a cumulative toll. Before this past August, when I attended this online workshop led by Laura Lipsky, I probably would not have used the phrase collective trauma to describe the everyday experience of the last 5 years, the social upheaval and the pandemic. But after I went to this workshop, the phrase collective trauma made a lot more sense to me, especially when Laura showed us this slide. In the middle, I know it's really small. You don't have to read it. I'm going to go through it. In the middle, it says, when experiencing overwhelm and trauma, and around it is a list of symptoms and patterns that can develop when we face trauma or if we live in a state of prolonged stress and overwhelm. Over time, it can be so slow we don't even notice this stress can cause all of these kinds of behavior patterns. I think it's overwhelming, Dan. Maybe we could go ahead and take it down. I know it's really small. I actually put this PDF in the weekly update. It's also in the worship reminder, so it's already in your email inbox. You don't have to attend to it. You can read it later if you want to. It's also on the website in the blurb for today's worship. So the patterns that she's talking about are patterns like diminished creativity, cynicism, difficulty empathizing, or cognitive overload, a pull toward confirmation bias and away from critical thinking. Does any of those resonate with you? What struck me in the workshop as Laura went through this list is just how many of those I am seeing these days in regular people all around me. Congregants, staff members, myself, loved ones, the culture at large. Let's just go through a few of them so we can be more specific. So one of them is feeling like you can never do enough. To illustrate this, Laura demonstrated with this cartoon, the cartoon of penguins, Dan, if you can possibly put it up. It's a bunch of penguins, and it's a bunch of penguins, and one of them is flying. And at the bottom it says, "We just haven't been flapping them hard enough." And I see this pattern in myself so often. I always feel like I'm not doing quite enough, that I could do more somehow if I just flapped harder, I'd get there. And I'm realizing now that that feeling often bleeds out of me in expectations in other people, that they should do more, that they should keep striving. And I'm becoming more aware of that, and for the sake of everyone else, I'm really trying to rein it in. Another symptom that pops up in organizations around the world, according to Laura, it's okay, is example of me overwhelming Dan and asking him to do too much. I could have just told you this. Oh, Zoom died. Oh no, Zoom. You're not helping today. All right, there we go. So that is the one with the penguins, and the low morale one is the one with two guys sitting at a desk. And it's a job interview. And one of the guys is saying, "I see you've done time, so working in a cubicle shouldn't be a problem." And she talks about how this is really symbolic of how in organizations, even where we're working on our passions, our morale can just suffer and drain out so quickly. And I resemble that remark. Another symptom of the cumulative toll of collective trauma is hypervigilance. And that's the one where we have the two dogs. And one of the dogs says, "I bark at everything. You can't go wrong that way." Now, that's hilarious, but I bet we all know somebody who barks at everything, right? And it's not a healthy way to live. It's really stressful in the long run. So ever since I took this training, I've been trying to hold this list in my awareness. And as I see these behaviors around me, in myself and in other people, the list helps me to hold compassion. Because after all, these behaviors, they're just coping strategies, right? They're ways that we humans use to manage our stress, or ways we try to control situations over which we actually don't have control. But we can do better. We don't have to fall into these behaviors. Thankfully, Laura Lipsky also has antidotes for us, tools that she's developed to help trauma workers and everyday humans process the effects and safeguard their souls against further onslaught. So here's another one of Laura's way too dense slides that you can get from the links I've already sent you that you don't have to try to read. But I just want you to see that it is a roadmap. It is called Map for Managing One's Life, and she's crossed out life and she's put day. And it's just, it's a lot of tools that you can use as you go through your day. Again, there's no way you could possibly read it, but I wanted you to see that it has a wealth of tips on how you can take care of yourself in traumatic times. I'll just give you a little précis, and yeah, thanks, Dan. First, when you wake up, protect your morning. Set aside some time for yourself, for peace, before you look at your phone, before you turn on the news, before you flood your system with cortisol, the stress hormone. Take a few minutes to just be you. Maybe look at a tree. Next, as you go through your day, set aside time to metabolize stress, to get it out of your body via exercise, time in nature, connecting with friends. Try to ask yourself every single day, what am I grateful for? Am I spending my time in life the way I want to be? Be mindful of your hydration, your consumption of substances and screen time and criticism. Engage in mindfulness, spend time with animals, get enough sleep. Practice compassion. I know all of that is a tough order, but this is a great printout to put up on your fridge or on your bathroom mirror, and just think of it as a roadmap to better mental health. It's aspirational, and it can help. It can help to have concrete aspirations. And I have just one more final tip to take with you. There's a tool that's accessible to all of us all the time, and it's so simple that even 6-year-olds in our story this morning could teach us a class on it. Just breathe. Let's breathe. Whenever things are feeling like too much, you can always stop and breathe. I mean, maybe if your job is driving a speeding train, you don't have time to breathe, but basically everybody else can take a minute to breathe wherever they are. Remember the video this morning that had that glitter spinning around in the jar? And we just waited for the glitter to stop and to fall. We keep breathing, and we watch it settle down and down and count to 10. In our reading this morning from Scientific American, it ended this way. It turns out that every relaxation or calming technique in the world relies on breathing. It is the common denominator. And that article went on to quote recent studies that suggest that in addition to improving our current condition, regular breathing exercises can actually make you less vulnerable to stress. It can permanently modify your brain circuits. You can actually breathe your way to better mental and physical health. That's good news. So I hope that the next time you're in a tough spot, you'll just remember to breathe. It's science and it's spirit. After a few breaths, you might find that enough space has opened in your mind that you can remember all those other tools for metabolizing stress. Nature, music, friends. And you might remember too that humankind has suffered collective trauma many times before. And our ancestors survived all of it. Ancestors like Julian of Norwich, who I talked about in our prayer today. Julian survived war and plague and the truly medieval oppression of women. And yet through it all, she proclaimed out loud her faith that no matter what, in spite of everything, all will be well. In the bigger picture, in the farthest end, all manner of things will be well. In Julian's book called Revelations of Divine Love, which is the earliest surviving volume we have from a woman in English, Julian proclaimed that God is love, nothing more, nothing less, just love, the spirit of love. My friends, these are hard, hard times we are living in. Just like that century that our ancestor Julian lived in, we are surviving times of isolation and heartbreak, times of collective trauma. Remember to go easy with yourself and with others. Remember to breathe. Remember to center yourself as often as possible in love. As often as you can, remember to breathe and call into your world the spirit of love, like we did in the prayer today. Love that moves through all time and space, love that connects us all to each other, love that transcends even death, love that never, ever ends. Love for yourself, love for others, love for the whole wonderful world. Remember to breathe. Breathe in peace and breathe out love. Amen, and so may it be. For our closing hymn today, we have an invocation to our ancestor, Julian of Norwich. I've played this song in worship before, and you might recall it. It was written and performed by the UU minister, the Reverend Meg Barnhouse, in the form of an imaginary conversation that Meg has with Julian. I've added images and lyrics to the song so folks can sing along with Meg. Please rise as you like in body or in spirit, for all will be well.
I said, Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about pain? And I said, Julian, do you not know about hunger? And Julian, do you not know about shame? But she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about loneliness? And Julian, do you not know about disease? And I said, Julian, do you not know about cruelty? I said, Julian, it's too much, it brought me to my knees. But she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, no one does not know about loneliness, and no one does not know about disease. And she said, no one does not know about cruelty. She said, I know, it's brought me to my knees, where I heard all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand, and Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, baby girl, do you not know about tenderness? She said, baby girl, do you not know about friends? And she said, baby girl, do you not know about the spirit? She said, baby girl, do you not know it's only love that never ends? And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well.
Please, if you would, remain standing for just a minute. We'll have our little connecting moment if we can. Breathe. People here in the room, if you would like, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Feel free to reach out to the people in your pods with you and hold hands. People at home, you can go ahead and hold hands, or if you want, put your hands up like this in your little Zoom square, and it might look, if you move to the gallery view, like we're connected just for this minute. Go ahead and breathe. Feel that. And feel free to keep connected while we say together our chalice extinguishing words. I'll be there in just a minute. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Those we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please be seated. Our service has ended. In just a minute, the folks on Zoom can go into breakout rooms for virtual coffee hour. Folks here in the sanctuary will enjoy a piano postlude from Tara, and then we'll all exit one group at a time. Please go all the way out to the front lawn, and we can gather out there for conversation. Thank you all here and there for worshiping with us today.